Today, I will be exposing the truth about Wall Pilates. Wall Pilates has taken over the internet. It's been named one of the biggest fitness trends of 2024, and it's gotten a ton of criticism from the Pilates world. Today, we're gonna settle it. Does Wall Pilates give you a snatched waist, or is it a complete waste of time? Let's go. Now, if you're new here, my name is Rachel. I'm a certified Pilates instructor, an occupational therapist, a mom of two, and I make Pilates and fitness workouts right here on my YouTube channel, Rachel's Fit Pilates. Today, we're gonna go over, is Wall Pilates real Pilates? Is Wall Pilates so special and unique that it's gonna give you these amazing results? Who is Wall Pilates right for? And why would I, as a self-respecting Pilates instructor, decide to make Wall Pilates workouts? We've got a lot to talk about here. So first up, is Wall Pilates Pilates? The simple answer is no. It's not something that we get a ton of training on, learn a ton of exercises. When we go to Pilates training, you get books on the mat and the reformer, the different apparatuses, and do you learn a ton of Wall Pilates exercises? No. Certainly not enough to fill up a 28-day challenge. Now, just because these exercises are not in our manuals, does that mean that they are not effective exercise? Does that mean that an instructor could not apply their knowledge and put it onto the wall, realizing that the majority of people who are making these workouts are fitness trainers and these apps that don't seem to be really doing any Pilates exercises? This is where it's all about your personality, right? What do you do when something is different? Do you double down and say, that's ridiculous, I'm not gonna do it, this is always the way we've been doing it? Or do you lean into that and say, this is a creative challenge? Like, could I do this? Could I help people with this? Is there value here? And my thinking was, wow, if I can get these people who are being so misled by everyone else online and give them a quality workout that is coming from a good place, that is not misleading, that can hopefully build their confidence, then I think it's well worth it, even if I face criticism from other instructors. Now, I came to Pilates as someone with an exercise science degree and was an occupational therapist and spent a lot of time into the bodybuilding world and strength training. So I feel like I have a good understanding of what would make an effective exercise and what wouldn't, because that's another criticism, is that they are inferior to mat Pilates, for example. That's really the more important question here. Not is it real Pilates or not. I think what matters the most is, are these moves effective at strengthening you? I think Wall Pilates makes some exercises easier and some more difficult. So for ab work, for example, the exercises are going to be easier because you are limited by the wall. Now, is that a bad thing that it's easier? Or does that mean it's right for some and not for everyone? You are gonna have a smaller range of motion. You could do some good crunching work, working that rectus abdominis muscle, which is great for functional movements. As long as you're shortening and lengthening that muscle, it should get stronger with the right type of programming. Now for glute work, I think it's more difficult. It reminds me of an elevated glute bridge where your feet are on a bench and you're on the ground, and it's more difficult because you've got more range of motion, so you have further to go. There's more time under tension doing 10 of those versus 10 with your feet on the ground. In terms of arm work, you can do some exercises like a chest press or working the triceps in that lying down position, but you're gonna have to get up for things like bicep curls and back work. That's why it's important that if you did decide to do a Wall Pilates workout, you need to do it with someone who understands body mechanics and what positions challenge a muscle and what positions when lying down make it really easy. So let's say person A does 10 mat Pilates sessions and person B does 10 Wall Pilates sessions. Who's gonna get stronger? I honestly don't think it comes down to that. I think it comes down to the program design itself. Does the instructor have a good understanding of exercise science principles? Do the programs gradually increase and challenge that person a little more? You just truly cannot look at a single YouTube workout, for example, and say, oh, that would never strengthen someone, because you don't know what are they doing before, what are they doing after. That matters so much. And do they enjoy it? Because if they don't enjoy it, they're not coming back to you for the rest of those sessions. What makes a program or effective is how you progress, how you challenge yourself. Are you adding weight? Are you increasing the length of your workout? Did you do the move one way and now you're doing it a little bit more challenging way? For you as a consumer, I don't think the conversation of is it real Pilates or not should be a major concern to you. You really should be worried more about the program design and is this instructor focusing on your goals and helping you achieve them. Now on the opposite side, the side that says Wall Pilates can snatch your waist, get rid of your belly fat, lower your cortisol, raise your credit score, lower your student loans, and pay off your mortgage of your house. Will Wall Pilates solve all the problems in your life? Honestly, I think that's why people are so worked up about this not being real Pilates, because we all were introduced to it in this main way in the past year or so, and it's so body focused and so misleading that any fitness professional is just like, what is this? Just because something is different, and we talked about, yeah, sure, for the glute bridges, it might be more difficult and you might get even a little bit more core work into it because you're on an unstable surface and your obliques have to work to try to resist rotation there. But does that mean your waist is gonna get snatched? I always present it on my channel that it's a great starting off point for beginners, and I teach them how to progress up from that. Beginners can get really great results with that combination of diet and exercise. I think it's truly a shame that we have been introduced to it in the way that it has been, because I do think it can be really great for some people. If it sounds too good to be true, it likely is. Now, if you're thinking, why can they call it Pilates in the first place? Well, legally, Pilates is a generic term like exercise. They can use the term Pilates in creating this workout, even if it's really doesn't contain many Pilates exercises. The other aspect that's so associated with it is the challenge aspect, which is not always found in the Pilates world. It's much more borrowed from the fitness world. As you may have noticed from my background, I like a lot of the things that the fitness world has to offer. And I think a challenge is a great idea for someone who wants to be consistent, who wants to know what to do every day, who wants to guarantee that they're progressively challenging themselves instead of just doing random workouts. I think if led by someone with the right intentions and with transparency, not giving these false claims of what you will look like after 28 days. I know I fell for that stuff so much when I was younger. I think a fitness or a Pilates challenge is not only okay, but it's also really helpful for people. So lastly, and I think you might be surprised by some of this, is Wall Pilates good for, like, who is Wall Pilates good for? Is it just beginners? This honestly, my experience of creating Wall Pilates workouts completely changed my opinion about them. I already was committed to making them, but when I saw these comments coming through and the way that it was helping people with issues I never even considered, I completely bought into how helpful this type of exercise can be for people. I can see why there's so much criticism, but there's no way that instructors who don't make these workouts and who are not seeing the comments that I'm seeing can understand how 2 feet on a wall can make a huge difference in someone's life. I genuinely thought it was people in their 20s who are mostly doing Wall Pilates workouts, but what I found is that people were finding my workouts and found them so helpful because they're at a point in their life where maybe they had a hip issue or knee, a broken foot, issues with their ankles, maybe they had a stroke. So it was a type of exercise that they could show to their doctor. Their doctor would say, yes, that's fine to do. And now they could have a way to move at home that they felt safe and they felt actually strengthened them. I've had people with goals of wanting to be able to ride their horses, to be able to get down on the ground and play with their grandchildren. I had a comment from someone saying that as a blind person, they were so grateful for this form of exercise because they felt really safe doing it. And what's a really important component of an exercise program is if you find something you enjoy doing. There's all different types of people with comes to their personality with exercise. Some people just like to do the same exercise all the time. They find it simple, effective, like that's it. And then there's other people like myself who I will certainly do those because they're effective, but I also want to have my mind stimulated and to try different exercises. I'm that person in Pilates. So what matters to me, yes, is the exercise selection, but it's also the experience of the exercise. An experience of a workout, especially if you're doing a YouTube workout. What is the instructor like? What is the general feel of the video? Do I feel connected to them? Do I enjoy the way this movement feels in my body? Right? So if that is something where someone has found Wall Pilates and it's just changed the game for them in terms of exercise, that has tremendous value. As someone who has sat on the other side of making challenges and having people comment and being able to watch people go through them, I want to make something that people find enjoyable, that people can be consistent with. I know for myself, even with bodybuilding, with Pilates, If something's really boring, I'm not gonna do it. And if it's the same thing every time, I am gonna dread going. So that's what's important for finding kind of the right fit for you in terms of an instructor is like, do they have that similar personality as you? Now, if you're looking for effective wall Pilates workouts, I would try to find a Pilates instructor who makes them. There are definitely a few on YouTube. The best way you can search if someone is a Pilates instructor is to look in their About Me and see if they have any type of Pilates training listed in their description. As I mentioned before, I'm one of those brave instructors who has made wall Pilates workouts on my channel, so you can check out my workouts and my challenges as well. So now we've gone over, is wall Pilates real Pilates? Not really. Is wall Pilates gonna give you these crazy results, not changing anything with your diet? Definitely not really. Is wall Pilates good for anyone? In my opinion, absolutely. I hope this video helps clear up any misconceptions. I've only ever seen wall Pilates talked about from Pilates instructors in a negative light. And I think there's so few people who are sitting where I'm sitting that I thought, you know what, I should give my perspective on this because I think it's a little bit different. In my opinion, it's a little bit more open-minded. If it's something that you enjoy, if you feel like it's helping strengthen you, then I hope you continue to do it or that you will try it. If you've done my 28-day Wall Pilates YouTube challenge or any of my Wall Pilates workouts and you feel like they've helped you, go ahead and share your story. I think storytelling is a very compelling way for people to open their minds and to see how something that maybe they felt was not helpful could really be helpful to the right person. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time.